Hey, this is my live stream that I'm trying to do regularly during the week. Oh, my hair looks bad. Anyway, sorry about that. Um, anyway, every week I'm trying to do like some kind of a little bit of a live stream practice tip, and I know sometimes I miss it just because I got too many things, too much vata derangement going on. But this week I was like, I can do this. So my practice tip today is around neck stretching. I think sometimes what we do is we think we should keep the torso really neutral and then do all these things with the neck, which is not necessarily bad. But what I started to notice several years ago was when I was just doing these kind of neck stretches that I would feel a lot of strain in my neck, and it didn't feel natural, and it felt like I was like overly tightening certain parts of my body, and then other parts of my body I was letting be a little more open, and it didn't feel right somehow. So what I started to experiment was more whole body movements to stretch the neck. So that's what I'm going to show you today. It's just a few things that I've picked up over the years. I'm actually going to show you three things. Oops, and try not to step on the cat. I'm sorry, baby, I didn't know you were there. He always comes and hijacks my yoga space. Okay, so the first one is, instead of doing like keep everything still and let your head do a lateral flexion, why not let your shoulder move into lateral flexion too, right? And you could do an exhale here, and by the way, the other arm could do a little movement. And you could do a little exhale if you like. You could do this sitting down, by the way. You don't have to be standing up. I just thought I would show it standing up. So exhaling down and floating back up. And you don't have to use the breath, but it does kind of help. Okay, so that's one option for getting some of that lateral bend without, making everything rigid and just focusing on those muscles. Because guess what? We're not just a bunch of separate muscles, are we? Everything is connected through the myofascial system. So when you let the whole body move, it makes much more sense. That's kind of how we're built anyway. Okay, so that's one that I like for lateral flexion. You could also do lateral flexion and then rotation, right? So you're laterally flexing up. And by the way, I'm getting my knees in it too. So there's lateral flexion, and then it's not really rotation, but a little bit, because I'm doing those kind of neck roll things, but I'm using my whole body to do it. If you were sitting down, you would just, obviously your knees wouldn't be working, but you could still do this sort of letting the shoulders get into it. Yes, I'm doing neck stretches, kitty. Got your cat in the middle. Okay, so that's another possibility. Then here's one that I like for rotation. So again, like, knowing the neck rotates without the shoulders, but like when you're driving your car and you're looking behind you, although you might not do that if you have a car with a camera, but everything's moving, right? The shoulders move too. That's a more natural human movement than keep everything still and just move your neck. So this one can be really useful. You use the hands in front with the fingertips, and there's a sort of like an openness. You can breathe in if you like. Follow it, my shoulders move, even my legs can get into it a little bit, my hips, inhale, open. And exhale back to neutral. You don't have to use breath here, but it can be really nice. Inhale, open. Exhale, floating back. And I like to just have a little touch of the fingers. That can be nice for proprioception. Okay, we'll do one more on each side. Open and exhale back. So how did that feel, by the way, on your neck in terms of the little bit of movement? Another way to do that twist, the rotation, would be use your arms and wrap them around you as you look back, and then just letting my hips go. And in this one, I can let my heels spin up as long as I don't disturb my cat, and then spin to the other way. So it's kind of like the empty coat sleeves, which is faster. The empty coat sleeves is like this. But now I'm doing real slow, just wrapping around and letting my head go. So it's just sort of, I'm like letting the whole sideline have some movement, some mobility. we're starting to understand that muscles don't really stretch. It's about what is mobile and what is stable. That's really what we want to understand about asana practice. Creating stability where I need it and mobility where I need it. Some people don't need a lot more mobility in their neck. They have too much mobility, so when you add this sort of holistic movement, you can find the areas that need mobility without overdoing the areas that don't need it, So I hope that's helpful for today. It's fun, always fun to be here. Feel free, if you're on Facebook, feel free to leave a comment. Well, if you're on Instagram, leave a comment too. And I'm going to try and keep up with these every week as much as I can. I hope they're helpful for practice tips. And yeah, please let me know where you're practicing with me from, because that's always nice too. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.